y'all have missed us. I know we missed TWA Talks for August, but we are back and we got some good stuff lined up for today. Today, we are hosting the beautiful, my newest friend, Dr. Elizabeth Stewart, who is the event or conference coordinator for AT Alabama Conference. And if you don't know what AT is, Assistive Technology Conference that's coming up here September 16th through 17th. We're going to be at the BJCC, so we'll talk more about that. Let me not take all your shine.
Yeah.
But I'm just so excited about today because today is going to really bring information to people who are not familiar with assistive technology, what it is, why it's important for families like mine, what professionals in this arena do in this space. We're going to talk about it in so many different ways that people can hopefully glean from all of the things that the conference itself brings. I went to the conference for my first time last year, which was literally just year 2 of the conference. And I was blown away because I thought I knew. And then I got in that conference and was like, I did not know all of this was even a possibility, and being a parent of a child with a disability, I accept that I don't know what I don't know, but I didn't know that.
And now you're a big committee member.
I was honored when I was asked to be a part of the planning committee. I was just like, yeah, what do I do? And you were like, you know people. And I was like, I sure do. And that's just, to really kind of lean into my strengths. I'm embracing my strengths. I didn't know were strengths. And so I'm always happy to lend any kind of support, anything that I could do to bring awareness, bring information, bring knowledge and support, especially United Ability for the way that they changed my life. And then learning about AT just last year, it was phenomenal. And I just wish that more people had access to it or knew. And I won't even say have access because everybody has access, but nobody knows. You just don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so I'm just so excited to have you here today to really talk about the conference, talk about some of the things that, we're going to see at the conference, what the conference is hosted for, what it's intended to do. So I am going to stop talking because I could go on forever and ever and ever. I was blown away, y'all. So I'm telling you, when I got in that conference and I was just like, I went to the first session because everybody knows Harper uses an AAC. So I was like, sure, okay, I can jump right in here, learn more about the AAC. And I was just like, oh, okay, this was good. I knew a lot of the information, but I was there and I was like, oh, I could go to other sessions. And when I went to those other sessions is what really I was floored. I learned so much. Some of the speakers and how they bring their stories and how they bring the information to families. It's life-changing. It's life-changing. So I am going to stop. Let's first let you introduce yourself to our good people that may be here with us on the live today and just kind of tell a little bit about because you're the creator, the founder.
Well, yes, but it definitely is because of people like you and our committee that we're able to do this. But thank you for having me.
Of
this
course.
Is so great. Yeah, I'm Elizabeth Stewart. And just to tell you a little bit about my background, I currently work for the University of Alabama. I'm a research professor there. But a good portion of what I do is support contracts and programs around our state, specifically with United Ability and AT, which we've talked about, accessing potential through assistive technology. And so really all of my work relates back to assistive technology and just being able to build capacity and programming so people do have access to those resources. But I started as a special education teacher. So I was a special education teacher for 12 years in Homewood at Homewood Middle School. I was in the same room for many, many years. I taught students with complex needs, and early on in that experience, I went back to school to get my master's, and I had a class that was related to assistive technology, and everything I learned, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be life-changing for my students. So I would take it back to my class and my students and my families that I was working with, and I just saw immediate results. And so I had to know more. So I love the classroom. It's been almost 9 years now, so that ages me. But since then, it's been really just an amazing experience to see the growth that we've had in our state and in our community surrounding assistive technology. But we have a lot of room for growth.
Yeah.
And so, at this point in my career, people ask all the time, like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, my main career goal right now is to have opportunities for people to learn. And so that's why this conference has been so special. It has been a dream to be able to have a space for people to come together, learn, but also network and build community. Because assistive technology is a community, and there's so much to know. There's such a range of tools and best practices, and so being able to know that at least once a year we're going to be able to have some programming. But there's so many other things that are happening in our state that we're hoping to be able to highlight at the conference, because there's a lot of really great work happening right now and growth happening. So that was one of the things that makes AT Alabama really special, I think. So for year 3, I think it's going to be definitely our biggest yet. But
and it's going to keep getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. And talk a little bit about like the growth that you've seen in, because like you said, this is only year 3. It's only year 3, and we're already at about 300 plus people who have registered, confirmed attendees. And that's not even to say the people that may attend the free event, the pre-conference. The pre-conference event and the vendor hall.
Yes.
So there are different aspects of the conference that even if you're not able to attend the sessions throughout the day, there are other opportunities that have been presented or created in the conference for people to attend. So the pre-conference events, I'll let you tell.
So we have 3 on September 15th. We have 3.
There's a napkin. I'm so sorry. There's a napkin right there.
We have on September 15th, we have 3 pre-conference events that are completely free to anybody that registers. 2 of them are augmentative communication related, augmentative and alternative communication related, AAC, which you heard LaToya mention earlier. And so one is hosted by Toby Dynavox, and that is more adult related. They are looking at different devices that can be used for adults in different access methods, and they're gonna have the programming is specific to that. And then we have PRC is doing a pediatric AAC training that will be specific to word power and some other language options available through PRC. And both of those also have 6 hours of CEUs tied to the training.
Nice.
So for speech pathologists or other professionals that need continuing education, that is a great way to get some additional hours on top of the conference. And then we have an adapted skateboarding clinic that will take place from 3:30 to 5:30 on September 15th. And I think that's going to just be so cool. And I know y'all have participated before.
And so that one is hosted by A-Skate. So Chris Worley, I met her a while back. I discovered that I can't even remember how she came across my lap, but I was just like, I'm going. And we took Harper. Harper is a daredevil, absolute speed demon. And so we were like, we're going, and we were able to go and for the first time ever see the skate park in Birmingham. So that's another beautiful part of this conference, is that it's bringing people to like spaces they may have never seen or thought that they did not have access to because of their limited mobility, or whether it's whatever disability you have. A-Skate is kind of coming and changing that and showing you how, because when we went to her first event, we thought, oh, maybe they have like this cool adaptive equipment and we can just, see something new. And when we got there, they gave Harper a helmet and she was able to go in that same park in her wheelchair. I think that's so important because people don't realize that the spaces as they exist today can still accommodate certain families or whatever, it is. You don't have to have the expensive technology. If you can't afford it, you can still access that space. But also she'll show you, they'll show you that adaptive equipment that you can use to skateboard, to roller skate, whatever it is. And so shout out to Chris Worlds. I cannot wait to get to another event. We might not be able to attend this one coming up, and so don't tell Harvard. But I mean, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Well, and I think it's going to be fun too. We have some folks coming in that are partnering with Chris and A-Skate from Ability Skateboarding and Adventure Sports. And so they travel around the country to participate in events, but also host events. So they are kind of teaming up, and they'll also be speaking at the conference. So that's cool. But there are spots for people with disabilities to be able to participate, but then there's also spots for professionals to learn alongside the participant. So anybody that OTs, PTs, professionals working in the rehab space that want to know more of the athletic space, I think it would be a really great opportunity.
And I love that you bring that up, because a lot of people think that these conferences are just for professionals.
Right.
And they don't realize that families are there.
Yes.
When I went to that AAC session last year, I was in a room full of teachers.
Mhm.
And I was blown away, like, teachers are interested in doing this. There are actually, I know lots of families have challenges and struggles in the school system. And so they may not encounter, those teachers who may be as hands-on as you were, or embrace the fact that there may be other ways that we can help these students learn. And I'm telling y'all, I was in a room full of teachers, and I was like, see, people need to see this. People need to know that there are people who care. There are people who are invested in learning and invested in making sure that they know what's out there so that they can serve their students best. So talk a little bit more about like the different professionals who will be there, or just families, or like who all will be at the conference.
Well, so we have 385 people registered so far, to attend, and that really is a huge range of folks. So we have lots of parents and individuals with disabilities. We have OTs, PTs, speech pathologists, rehab engineers, educators, administrative staff from different areas. We have a lot of higher ed professionals and students coming this year. We have a big group from UAB, the OT department, and Samford. We have some folks from Samford, their speech pathology department and their special education department.
Nice.
So that is going to bring a new exciting aspect. So being able to train and give opportunities for students to learn as well. So we have 50 breakout sessions. So in those sessions, we have it kind of divided into 5-track topics. So each track has, a variety of sessions available, but the tracks are education, AAC, workplace, independent living, and adaptive recreation. So those are the 5 topics that are kind of explored throughout the 2 days through those 50 breakouts. And the topics are just so cool and just so diverse in the information that they are delivering. And so we're really excited for people to learn and experience that. And to be able to, the thing I love about it and what has been my dream from the beginning is that, like me as an educator, I can go, and although there's a whole track for education, I can choose lots of different things that might not be directly related to what I'm doing at that moment, but that might trigger ideas that I have in other areas. And so I love that it is across the lifespan and across disciplines.
Yeah.
So I think that really sets it apart from other conferences.
Definitely.
And, is a place where people can come and just be energized and also spark ideas.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
And from that family aspect of it, I think it's so important for parents like me to come out, and especially like, I'm still kind of like newer into the journey. We only 6 years in. You don't know what you don't know. But one thing that was really where I say my life was changed was seeing other individuals with disabilities present and using technology in a way that I did not even know was possible.
Yes.
The eye gaze technology blew me away. I have told anybody who would listen to me about the fact that I saw cerebral palsy all of my life, and you will only see the worst case scenario of cerebral palsy. So when my child was diagnosed, I was like, Dr. Law, no way. I don't believe you. I've seen cerebral palsy, like this child does not have it. That's when I was like educated on the fact that it can look different. And beyond that, I got into this conference and I attended my favorite session. I cannot wait because I was like, I know they're gonna be here. I can't remember their name, from Canada.
Oh yeah, Brad and Dan.
Yes. I was like, I cannot wait because I am gonna drag my people there to see them, because that was my first time, number one, seeing eye gaze technology. There were other individuals with disabilities present and kind of rolling around, going through. And I saw them with the AACs, but I didn't see it in action. And I got in that session and I watched them introduce gaming from eye gaze technology. And so what, you guys probably, I could tell you what eye gaze technology is from, but I would love for you to expand on it if you can. But the AAC is literally the same communication device that Harper uses, but they use their eye movement to, kind of hone in on the word, and it speaks based off of eye movement. And to take that a step further, now you're going beyond just communication into recreation, and you're able to play video games with somebody, because what's his friend's name? So the guy who founded it is
Brad and Dan. Yes, Dan was Brad's paraprofessional actually in school, and they have a brand that they, like an organization that they call All Access Life. If you haven't seen them, look them up. They are big on social media, and they have a real following because the content that they push out is, for one, awesome and funny and well done. But Brad is just really, he's a fantastic device user, and very skilled with using eye gaze as his access method to access his device. But Dan, between the two of them, they have been able to really showcase assistive technology tools and products for just everybody, online. And so people that maybe had never seen that before, they're super engaged with that content. And gaming is their big thing. Yeah. They're doing a session at the conference again on gaming. But one of the really cool things that they'll have this year is a big adaptive gaming booth in the exhibit hall. And so people will be able to play the games kind of against Brad, which we did this at ATA, another Assistive Technology Conference in January. And I was playing Brad and Brad. Brad, if you ever see this video, you'll hear me say this, but Brad's one of my favorite people. So I would typically never want to beat Brad in anything, but I beat you, Brad. But it's really fun to be able to see Brad have access to all of those games that he wouldn't have otherwise without these different assistive technology tools. So.
And it was so amazing because not only did I see that, and then he did do like a demo where somebody else with more eye gaze technology was able to play, and I was just like, look at this! This is so exciting because that's an aspect of disability that you will never see. Mainstream media is not showing you that these people with disabilities are truly capable. And that there's technology that's out there that, when given to them, when giving them the opportunity, when supplying them with the correct support or any support, they could thrive just like anybody else. It just looks different. And I was just so blown away by that. And then later, I'll say day 2 of the conference, because my eyes then were open to the eye gaze technology, I saw it everywhere. Like, oh wow, like this has been here the whole time, and I just didn't. I didn't take a step back to see that it was right next to me. And then I heard, I know that it was Brad and Hank, and Brad and Hank were teaming up against one of the vendors. I don't know what her name was, but I heard them like making jokes with her, and I was like, look at me eavesdropping, but laughing at the jokes that they're making her, because they, I want to say it was Hank who walked up and said, are you working or hardly working?
Yeah.
And, you know, so
That
it's
sounds
just like,
Hank. He has
yeah.
an awesome sense of humor.
speaking of Hank Poor, I'll definitely tell y'all much more about the Hank Poor Foundation. I love them. But I was just so blown away. And so my whole goal for this, for sure, is to give people more information about how they can access this conference in particular. So tell us more about, so we talked a little bit about the free event, but what would registration look like? You know, what is the price? And then, you know, are there opportunities for scholarship? If not, then we got a idea for next year. But you know, how can families access?
Well, so registration for just the full conference attendee is $200, and that does cover the full conference and continuing ed hours. And we do have a family and caregiver rate and an individuals with disabilities rate for $100. Students are also $100. So, and we do have some volunteer opportunities.
Yes.
So instead of scholarships, that is one way that we have been able to offer an opportunity to work a few hours at the conference, but then get your registration paid for. But yes, so, and it's a very easy registration process. We will eventually fill up over the next few days. I think 400 is what we were kind of thinking that we would cap at, but we probably have a little bit of wiggle room. So we would love for, you know, anybody that is interested to come and participate in the full conference. But if you feel that the 2 days of learning is not something that you can commit to, we do have some opportunities for families to be able to come and experience without having to pay any registration fee, and that's in the exhibit hall. So we have an exhibit hall that will have 50 vendors that all assistive technology related, and fun things like the adaptive gaming booth, and we'll have Culture City and their big sensory tent, and just lots of other vendors that will be set up. And we are opening that from 4:30 to 6:30 on September 16th. And so that is like an afternoon. We'll have a little happy hour during that time frame as well, with a cash bar and a charcuterie similar to this. And so that's a great way for people to come, bring family, friends, anybody. It is free and open to the public. So we really want to get as many people in the doors as possible during that window, or the next day from 8 to 1:15, the vendor hall will be open as well. But that is a Wednesday, so we know a lot of families, kids are in school, so that might not be possible. But hopefully that 4:30 to 6:30 window will be a good
option for sure. And it's so worth it because it's the vendor hall where you learn about. I saw last year, again, everybody's names isn't coming back, but listen, it may be the wine, it may just be old age, I don't know, but I saw a vendor who was there last year that kind of showed there's like flooring for sensory.
Oh yeah, a Sphere audiovisual.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
And that blew my mind. I was amazed, you know, and I was just like, I didn't even know something like this existed. I actually tried to start conversations with them to see what I could do to get them in my church. Like I was just like jumping in. I didn't even tell my church that I was doing it. I was just like, hey, listen, I found out about this thing. But it's those vendor halls where you really go and see those organizations, and you see what other assistive technology is out there. One cool one that I found, now I call it cool. You know, some people may not necessarily like this one, but there's an organization that allows you to report when somebody is parked in a accessible spot. Listen, before I wouldn't have cared. Before I would have been like, you don't have to tell somebody like, oh, I want to give somebody a headache for whatever. But now that I'm a parent of a child with a disability and it's raining and I got to park at the end of the parking lot, I have to lift a chair, I have to do these things. I'm busting into a sweat just to go into the store because somebody decided to park there who didn't have the tag or the decal. Just because you wanted to run into the store, you're taking a space from, you know, someone. And I feel like that's such an important message.
Yes.
And the message is not about snitching. It's all about the fact that you're creating this inconvenience for somebody who's already experiencing challenges in life.
Right.
And we could get out of ourselves enough to like think about other people who may, like before we used to, you know, park in the where it would say van accessible, but we were like, well, you know, we got a wheelchair, but like now I've learned Kathy Carver and come roll with me, and I learned about what van accessibility looks like and why they're so limited.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who park on the blue lines, like, where's that app so I can report these, you know?
Yes.
And one thing we did learn also is that Hoover is very responsive to people reporting that. And they support us. Even here, we had issues with people wanting to pass Harper's school bus because they felt like she's in a wheelchair. Like, surely I'm not putting anybody else in danger, and I'm tired of waiting 5 minutes. Like your house is gonna get up and run away. But you have these people who are inconsiderate I won't say that they're inconsiderate because they're just mean people, but I do think it's because you don't have that level of insight to understand what you're actually doing is stepping on somebody's right. So what you're actually doing is truly creating for the incident with the bus is danger, you know, because there are other kids on this bus who could elope. You know, what happens if that kid runs out and you're so eager to pass the bus because you're tired of waiting for the wheelchair thing to, like, the little elevator thing to come down to the ground. Like, it's just so much out there that happens. And that's why, you know, I try to create spaces like this to create opportunities for conversations so that people kind of get the insight.
To spread awareness. I mean, because that
sure.
is how we learn. And
Yeah.
just as humans, being able to have experiences where we learn something about somebody else that we didn't know, or that we, you know, had never seen before and thought about. And I think the app is Blue Spot VIP.
That's it.
I
have it. I have it on my phone. It's lost in all the apps, but I have it there because I was so amazed at that. And so in keeping with, because Brittany's giving me the eye, in keeping with some of the questions that we want to make sure that we're kind of touching on is the accessibility of the conference. So this was my first year on the planning committee. My first year. Note that. I'm coming back.
And counting.
Listen, I am so like anything that I can do. I was just like, okay, what else do you need? What else can I do? Which
has been amazing. And you were very instrumental in a lot of our sponsorships in the city of Birmingham.
In Birmingham,
yes.
That's what we're here to do, is to bring, because I feel like this is my city that I grew up in. And I've watched us grow, and I know that we are so capable. But you just don't know what you don't know. And I'm here to be that voice for Birmingham. And, you know, I do. That's why I was just like, when you were like, sponsorship committee, I was like, I don't know, what? I got to fundraise? Like, I don't know how to do that.
Nobody likes being put on that one.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh. And then when we had our first meeting and you started saying some of the people who had sponsored before, I was like, oh, I can do this. I know this person, because I have so many people in mind for next year. But I'm just like, you know, that was a strength that I didn't know that I had. But in addition to that, I know that I represent or have an ear of so many families that just don't know. And I just really always want to make sure that, you know, there is a voice in the room. I think that's just for the entire disability community, that's our thing, right? You know, nothing without us, nothing about us without us. And so anytime we get into a space, I'm always, you know, trying to think about, are we truly thinking about accessibility in its entirety? And I did witness a situation that happened at the conference last year. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was just that the bathroom, even though, because what we did, again, Kathy Carver, shout out to you for teaching.
She'll be there. She's doing a presentation.
Yes, I love Kathy Carver. And so she taught us about the differences in, like, wheelchair accessible, like the different signs that you see in different businesses and companies and buildings, where it's just like it's wheelchair accessible, and then it's like, I can't remember the other way, but there's a difference if it's just wheelchair accessible or if it's truly like disability accessible. And just kind of knowing that when or, you know, I learned this after the fact that me and my mentor were standing outside of the bathroom, and we heard like somebody kind of like hitting, bumping the door, but we didn't think anything of it because it was just a bump. It wasn't. But what happened was someone kind of came into that bathroom, which was supposed to be wheelchair accessible. But when they opened the door, like someone in a wheelchair, and it was a motorized wheelchair, so obviously that person didn't have the dexterity to be able to like reach up, like you know, and grab. So what happened was there was limited access. So basically that door had that handle, but there was no button on there that could automatically open the door. So when people think about ADA compliance, yes, do the bare minimum. That's fine, but you are really impacting someone's dignity if they can't come out of the bathroom.
Absolutely.
They went in, and so we witnessed that. And I again, I heard the bump at the door. I would have went and opened it, but I didn't think anything of it. And we were just kind of standing there chatting, and then we saw another person kind of go into the bathroom, and that person shoot out, and then she immediately go outside because you could tell she was upset. Probably needed to go get some air because, like, I'm sure that's hard. And I remember my mentor going, "Oh my God, I think she was stuck," and I got pissed. Like, as a parent, I'm like, "What?" Like, hold on, I was also standing there, and I didn't even go and think to go and like check. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure that being a part of the planning committee, I got the opportunity to kind of bring that to ears, because like that's not something that I went and shared about my experience with the conference, because that was not something that I felt was significant for families to know, because we're going to do everything that we can to make sure it's accessible. But I wanted to bring that to the light so that we could then think through, okay, one thing that we know is that when individuals with disabilities have to go to the restroom, it's near impossible sometimes in public, because those wheelchair accessible stalls are truly not as accessible as they think they are, because they're designed by people who are not in wheelchairs. And so I wanted to make sure that we really brought to light the accessibility of the space that we were going to be in, and we made accommodations for everybody, not just individuals with disabilities, because we created personal care stations for moms who may be nursing. I was a mom who had to go sit in the car and pump, and so again, just kind of trying to be that voice. So let's talk a little bit about the accessibility of it, because we do service individuals with disabilities.
Well, and I think that is, I love that you brought that up. I think it is very important to make sure that we are representing an accessible event, because a big part of assistive technology is creating accessible tools and spaces for people to be able to learn, work, spend time together, whatever it may be. And so for this event, we have worked really hard over the last few years to learn each year on how we can make sure that it is accessible for all. So not just a few of us, not some of us, but all of us. And so we have tried, and you've been very helpful with that, to make sure that we do have bathroom spaces that include adult-sized changing tables and other equipment that might be helpful for the bathrooming, but then also being able to have multiple spaces for people to either have time to themselves or to for the nursing station, and just lots of ways that can be brought to the conference. But then we also have captioning that's available during our general session for everyone, and we have an accommodations library that is put on by Accessing Potential through Assistive Technology, APT, our state assistive technology program. And so they are bringing a good portion of the equipment in their library. They're going to have just tons of tools, including things like accessible seating, so more comfortable seats. So somebody that might not be able to sit in, what we all probably consider to be an uncomfortable conference chair, but being able to have a comfortable seating option, or to be able to have a caption companion that can provide individualized captioning for whatever session that the person's in. And fidget toys, and just anything that might make the space more comfortable for people to learn, then we are trying to make that possible. So that is a really neat piece of the conference. We had that last year as well. And so that equipment can be checked out for the duration of the 2 days during the conference, but it can also be checked out just in general. APT has a lending library that's available to anybody in the state for free for 30 days. That is a great way to try assistive technology before you buy it, because we know that a lot of these tools can be expensive. And so you do want to make sure that it's the right tool. And so we're really grateful that they are, for one, host of the event, but also bringing the accommodations library to the event. So, and that, we think even that could be modeled for other conferences and events, to be able to have an accessibility library. So based on people's needs, being able to go and be in a conference and say, oh, that would really help me to be comfortable in this space, and be able to have access to that.
And even when I saw the captioning, I'll never forget. We were so blown away. My mentor and I were there, and we were like, the captioning is on the wall. I can see, and we're sitting in the back of the room, and like if the microphone was to go out or we couldn't hear something clearly because somebody was talking, we were still able to participate. And thinking beyond just again access in the disability community, I took that straight to my church, and I was like, listen,
Oh, I love that.
we have screens, and this is for any church who does anything, because again, people with whose hearing is impacted in any way benefits from closed captioning. And that closed captioning, I want to say I heard you guys say that it was literally like somebody, it's not somebody just sitting back there typing it, like it's technology almost similar to like AI, where it's just kind of spitting out the words, and people are able to like keep up with the conversation no matter where they are. That is so important for so many different businesses that just come to mind beyond just churches. I'm sure that there are other businesses where there's a lot of like presentations going on, or anything, companies who are accommodating people with limited hearing or impacted hearing.
Well, and now, and this is one of my favorite things to talk about lately, is that we have big tech companies that they have built-in accessibility features like captioning that are being seen in every form or fashion, and I love that so much. We'll actually have Apple there at the conference demonstrating. They have an interactive playground that will be set up to demonstrate their built-in accessibility features. But talking about the captioning, even like Zoom and Google Slides or Google, any of the products, you can have the captioning overlay on top, and those are all just built-in features that are free for anybody. And so it is fantastic to see companies that are not specific to people with disabilities to really take note of the fact that their software or their tool or their whatever it is accessible to everyone. And so that is changing the game.
Yeah, and I love that, because Apple also has, I learned, I was one of my friends that was in Pippa with me told us that she was using her AirPods as like hearing aids, because it was helping. And I was just like,
we got these from my mom for her birthday this year.
I love that.
Mom, if you're listening, hope you're wearing them. We still have to convince her to wear them, but it is there. Then that's just their newest AirPod that's on the market, and it has a hearing aid function. And so you are able to turn that on, and it amplifies the sound. And so it really adds a lot. She uses it at church and lots of other places that it is difficult. Yeah.
So for the families who come to the conference and they find, things like that, they find different technology that they feel like can help them, what then would be their next step after the conference for them to say, I saw this at the conference, and now what do I need to do to bring this into my life because it can help me or my child or my family member?
Well, and that's a good question. And when it comes to assistive technology, that answer can be different depending on like price and whether or not insurance will cover certain tools. But I would say a really great place to start is utilizing the AppDAT resources. And so again, those resources are available to anyone in the state for free. And that allows you to, most of the products that you'll see are available in some way to be borrowed, to really make sure that at home and at school, work, wherever it may be, that is the tool that really meets that need. And so being able to start there, but also just have that open line of communication with your schools, with your other families, with other organizations. United Ability does just a fantastic job of making sure that they are really working with families to get the tools that these clients or participants need into their hands, to make sure that they are trying them. They're finding ways for people to have access. So organizations are in the greater Birmingham area, but really all over Alabama, are really working to make sure that happens. So to keep that open line of communication, and also take it back to your own community to say, if, I think we might have something like this, but where is it? But if we don't, how can we get it? And so making sure that you are saying that to the people that are making decisions in the community, so that we do have communities around Alabama and all over Alabama that are accessible.
Yes, definitely. And I love that you brought up, and you touched on it earlier when you were a teacher in special education, and you would find out about these different things that can benefit the students, how you could serve them differently to help them on their learning journey. What's one way that schools or providers could use this conference to support families?
Well, we had a large number of teachers, and really, our goal when we started this was to have teachers from all over participate, and it started closer to home, like here in Greater Birmingham. We have teachers from every corner of the state that will be in attendance, and speech pathologists and OTs that all work in schools. And so I think that school systems being willing to send folks that work with their students to a conference like this shows that they are, we lost a great peer, shows that they're really willing, and they understand that the importance and like what an impact and how life-changing these tools can be. But we are still all learning.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for people to be okay with that.
Yes.
And to say, you know what, we know this is important, but we don't have all the information or the knowledge yet. So let's make sure that we are sending people to learn. So the teachers, though, that will be there, we're hopeful that they'll be able to learn something new that they maybe had not heard before, and then they can go back to their systems and say, we need to know more about this. And the State Department, they have been supportive. Sheila Bowling, who works with Assistive Technology at the State Department level, she'll be there presenting. And so I think we're seeing a lot of growth from the top down. And so hopefully that will continue. And as we build these partnerships, I think it really will.
Yeah.
So, we now have all these partners that are teaming up for this conference and for other initiatives around the state. So that's really exciting to see. And so I do think it's going to be a ripple effect that as people hear and learn and know, then you're going to start seeing that spread throughout Alabama and even beyond.
I love it.
Yes.
I love that because it's just like I said, we're in Birmingham, entire state of Alabama, we're so capable.
Absolutely.
And it's just, you don't know what you don't know. So, for me, my brain is going like, oh my God, it sounds like an opportunity for us to like reach out to all the different school systems. Like, hey, you need to send somebody. Like, what can we do to make sure that everybody's committed to growing in this area? How can we think innovatively about growing in the disability community and all of the community, the broad community, and making sure that we're inclusive of, or accommodating for people who need those supports.
Yeah.
So I am just so excited. I cannot wait. I got my team signed up. Like I think y'all were talking about that earlier. I'm just excited for them to see what I saw, because you can't put into words the impact that this conference brings. And then I don't know. I want families to know like something like this exists. Because I didn't know. I like I said, at the time that I went to the conference, Harvard was 5. So I was 5 years into the disability journey. I had no clue that there was even a conference like this that existed. And so it's just life-changing. Like I said, seeing other individuals further ahead, seeing other parents who were further ahead on the disability journey gave me confidence and courage to like walk this walk, to know that, I don't know what it looks like, but it ain't like, this ain't the end of the road.
Right.
It's gonna look different, but I mean, All Access Life, that was my first time seeing somebody with a disability with their own business and thriving, because he's a gamer, like for his job. And I was just like, what? And it's just like, people don't know that. I'm not getting that level of information. And so imagine what life looks like for someone who thinks that that's it, because they don't have the eye gaze technology. That person is sitting home, just kind of there. And the family then is just like, I won't say despair, but, just kind of hopeless because they don't know what their options are. And I'm always wanting to make sure that people know that there are options out there. So,
and I think that this conference, hopefully, in the future, will grow to a place where it's not just families and professionals in the field, but that we have businesses that want their employees to learn, and we have companies that want to be able to support and learn how they can make their spaces accessible. And,
Yes.
that will just continue to grow.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, Alabama has some really amazing things happening. And so we want this to be a space where we can highlight all of
For
those
sure,
things.
for
So-
sure. Because people need to know, like, we are not just dirt roads and
Right.
whatever
Yes.
it is. Like, we are a growing community, we're a growing state, we're embracing the differences that everybody brings.
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I walked in. I will never forget, I was in the LIN program, and I want to say I saw it like on social media, like David probably posted it, and I was just like, what? How have I never heard of it? I've been at United Ability for all these years and I've not heard of it. I'm going because one of the benefits of the LIN program was that they would pay for me to go to a conference. So I was just like, I'm going.
Mhm.
Like I'm going, and my mentor was like, well, actually we're gonna be vendors there. And I was just like, I'm going. Like I'll be there the entire time. I'll never forget. I cleared my schedule. Like I got to be there because I had never heard of it, and I'm so glad that I did that.
Well, I am too for many reasons,
Yeah.
but especially because of all the help and support that you
Oh.
brought to the table.
Well, I mean, when you impact me, like I can't wait to like show you my appreciation, And so when I saw you at the viewing, and you were like, you want to help plan? I was like, yeah, okay, sure. I don't know. I've never planned a conference before. I've only been to conferences, and so just that opportunity, I was so, I came home and was like, Henry, I met Dr. Stewart. She said that she wants me to be on the planning committee. And he was like, yeah, okay. Whatever that means.
And the rest is history.
And the
We have
rest
a
is
great friendship
history.
now. Yes.
I'm so excited. So we'll wrap this up with Brittany's last question. She's giving me
Okay.
She keeps on blaming me. I'm not giving any eyes.
Because it's either her or Henry.
Yeah.
Henry is like, I got the kids. So.
She's feeling Henry's ass from upstairs.
Yeah, that's what it is. 'Cause he did come down. I heard him. So, what's one thing that you want families to walk away knowing about the technology, this assistive technology and the conference?
Let's see. I'll do that in two parts.
Okay.
The conference, I hope that families will know that they are welcome, and we hope so that we have, tons of families and people with disabilities at this conference, because we cannot do a learning space without people with disability. We're not going to talk about what's the saying you said. We're not going to
Nothing about us without
us. And so we have many of the speakers that will be at the conference. A lot of the vendors are all assistive technology users as well. And so we want this to be a collaborative effort where we're all learning together. So we want families to feel comfortable and welcome and excited to come and learn as well. So that's about the conference. And you can go to atalabama.org to learn more. For assistive technology in general, I would say the main thing that I would tell parents is that assistive technology is ever changing, and sometimes it can be intimidating because we think about only the higher tech options and tools, but assistive technology is a huge range from low tech to high tech. And I always, when I present, I use the just an image of an umbrella because it is a big umbrella term. And so you have lots of different things in between, and being able to learn about all of these different stages and levels of assistive technology is important, because that can open your eyes to tools that can impact your children and your students and your family members in a big way. But to not feel intimidated to try new things. And they're not all going to work. They're not all going to be a good fit, but to make sure that you're trying them and finding resources and talking openly about it to be able to one day find that perfect tool for that need that will make a big difference. So to not feel nervous to try new things.
Yeah, for sure. And I can say one thing about the transformation that assistive technology brings. I kind of talked about it earlier today, but it was the communication barrier between Harper and us. She was so frustrated because she knows exactly what she's trying to say, but her body's not cooperating with her to be able to relay the message. Well, meanwhile, us on the outside are just guessing, like, well, what is it? What is it? What is it? Can you imagine, needing to like communicate something or trying to communicate something and getting so frustrated because you're not asking the right question, and I'm upset because my body's not doing what I'm asking it to do. And so we saw a transformation in our communication with Harper when we got the AAC, because then she was able to, I mean, just one word, and you could see her light up like, yes, finally you understand me. And so like that, for us, seeing that excitement on her was just, and it did take time. It took work. It took effort on both of our parts. It took patience. It took time, because.
Well, and I think that right there is a good tip too, that not to give up too soon, because it can take a really long time to find the right tool, but also to perfect, whatever that is that you're working towards, and so to not give up. Yeah,
don't, because it's so worth it. Like once you, even if you get to just telling me when you need to eat, when you want to watch TV. Yeah. Like the first thing she learned was watching TV. So, we were like,
well, I mean, that's a fun thing to do.
But she was so, I can't describe the joy that you saw, like, consume her, because we got it right, because it did take a level of practice. Every time. So what we learned, or what we did, our method was every time she pushed any button on it, you had to act out that thing. And that's where it changes. It's because she watches you. So if you say dance and everybody breaks out into a silly dance, yes, I'm going to burst out laughing, but I'm also going to say that again because I want to see you do that thing. So then once we started to customize it and tailor it to what her true likes were, that's when it was like, Dr. McStuffin.
Yeah.
And it was just like, can we please watch something else? But like, the fact that she was able to exactly say, this is what I want, it changed our relationship with our child. It changed our perspective of what the future could bring for her, because then once we embraced it and we taught her how to use it, now we're going to teach everybody around us how to wait and listen, let her push the buttons to see what she's going to say. That's her voice. And so we're teaching people around us how to be patient with her. We're teaching people around us how to encourage her to use that, to continue to build her voice until we can get some verbal communication one day, hopefully.
Well, and I always told this story about Hank. We talked about Hank earlier. Hank uses a communication, Toby Dynabot's communication device that it's called a TD Pilot, but it uses their eye gaze technology. And when we travel a lot to present, and when we go to restaurants, before he started using his newest device, people oftentimes would, in the conversation before he was able to, finish whatever he was ordering, whatever it may be, his device now has what's called a partner window on the back, so it shows what he's typing, and that has been a game changer. So now we go to restaurants, and you have waiters that have never experienced augmentative communication. They don't, know what that is. We don't have to necessarily tell them what it is, but if they are standing there, they ask me what Hank's order is, well, I turn to Hank, and then they see what Hank's typing, and they see rum and Coke, on the back of the screen, and they're like, they immediately then direct all their questions to Hank. They are having a conversation with Hank, and so without having to say anything, they now have experience communicating with somebody using a device, and they'll probably never forget that. And they'll now treat other people with disabilities differently, probably from that one interaction.
From one interaction, the impact is amazing, and so I'm just so excited about it. I'm excited because then I also heard one of the moms who attended say that she ended up getting her son a new wheelchair. She was like, I didn't even know that this was an option. I didn't even know that there was an upgrade that went out. And so again, you don't know what you don't know. And once you learn what you think you know, there's more.
There's more.
And
there's
so
always
you have to
more.
keep going. So for me, that's a takeaway, for families to like, yes, you may have mastered it in your circle, your bubble, but there's more. So like keep going. So come to conferences like these so that you can continue to learn. So I am gonna wrap us up. I don't know where we are on time, but I appreciate you so much. I know that you have been doing all the things, and so I just can't wait to dive in even deeper on next year.
Of course. I'm like, she's gonna be running this thing soon.
Like, I'm so excited about it. I have some ideas that I was like, oh, I'm gonna pitch this one. Like, it's just phenomenal. It's life changing, and it's not just life changing, just like you said, for the disability community. It's for the broader community that's for us at the Wildflower Alliance. We're always trying to reach the broader community because there shouldn't be a separation.
Right.
We're one people.
We are
one community, one world, one human race. And we have to learn how to accommodate and adjust for people who may do things differently than what we're used to, what we're familiar with, or, whatever it is. Just take the time to look at the person and give them the space to be who they are and accommodate them and support them where they may need it. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And so I feel like technology, assistive technology especially, because then, like you said, it's an umbrella, like low tech to high tech. Harper's wheelchair is assistive technology. I did not know that again until I went to the conference. Like, oh wow, so she uses all of these different things, and so people need to know that there's just so much out there. Even if you need the low tech to the high tech, whatever it is, there are organizations that are out there to support you get that highest tech. It's just life is just full of opportunities.
Absolutely.
So I'm so glad. Thank you so much for coming and talking
Thanks
about
for having me. This is great.
Yes.
Anytime we can come and drink wine and talk about assistive technology.
Lunchables.
Charcuterie.
Yes, thank you. And we'll definitely have you back to talk more about it, like assistive technology as a whole, as an
Okay,
industry.
that sounds good.
For sure, because people need to know, like these things are, even people who can't attend the conference this go around, there's still more that you can know. So,
And since you have a lot of parents too, next time we can talk more about ways that trainings and things that are happening within the schools, because there is a lot that's happening, and there's a new lending library specific to teachers in our state now, and so lots of change happening and growth. So.
I love it. So thank y'all so much for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and as a DM, an email, a text, or whatever. Just get your questions out here because knowledge is power.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite saying.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk about that before.
I love it. So thank y'all for joining, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.